So yeah, if you're to ask me right now, then I would think Trump has a I mean, she's going to win the popular vote, no question.
Yeah.
But as far as electoral college, I could see him winning very, very narrowly. Yeah.
I've read a lot of things, and my own analysis has really come down to Pennsylvania seems to be the keystone state. See what I did there?
God,
you like
this
that,
guy's
don't
so
you?
brilliant. And the wink, he had to give me the wink, and then the little.
If you take a look that northern wall that the Democrats have looked at, Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, as you pointed out, that's enough to get her over, assuming all of the other polling is correct and yada, yada, yada. So if he wins North Carolina, Georgia, Nevada, Arizona, she would still win, but not by much. So I look at Wisconsin, she's leading by a few. Michigan, she's up by one or whatever it is. Pennsylvania, I feel like everything comes down to Pennsylvania.
Isn't Pennsylvania weird, though? You consider that Shapiro...
Popular Democratic governor.
Won election by double digits.
Yeah.
So that's bizarre to me, yeah.
Yeah, and not only that, but they also sent Fetterman. Isn't he
Yeah.
Pennsylvania, right? They sent Fetterman to the Senate. Of course, they were running him against Mehmet Oz, and he wasn't a real strong candidate, considering he lived in New Jersey, which is a little tough. But, yeah, I don't know that things are going to come down to anything other than Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania has become the new Florida, right? Because Florida's solid for Trump.
Trump's going to win by 10 points for sure, yeah.
Right. So...
Unless a hurricane takes all his voters, which I think they're afraid of.
Well, that's why the Democrats sent him. I was reading an article today in Pointer. The 2016 election shattered the status quo in election results reporting. 2 blocks of news outlets now offer competing methods with similar findings. So basically what happened was 2016, people were saying, Hillary Clinton's going to win this thing. And they were calling states. And then all of a sudden, by the end of the night, it was like, it looks like Donald Trump just won this thing, right? It was great. Like, nobody saw that coming. We all questioned the validity of polls, all these other things. 2020 comes around. Fox News calls Arizona for Biden. The other networks were not. So how does that happen, right? Got to be looking at 2 different data sets. And that, come to find out, that is what we're looking at.
Yeah, those are different systems, yeah.
And I didn't realize that. I guess before 2016 or before I think it was before 2016, they had basically the one, right? And now the AP has got their own. And so the AP has got what they call VoteCast. And that includes Fox News, the Wall Street Journal. Those are pretty big names that they got on there. The other big national networks, CNN, ABC, CBS, NBC, along with Washington Post and BBC, they are sticking with Edison Research. That is basically the old way, which is exit polling. And that's just asking people who they voted for as they leave the polling places. How is that? This is where I get a little bit lost. How accurate obviously it's been pretty accurate through the years, but how accurate can that be when you have such a really, really tight race? You're just asking random people leaving a polling place in Pennsylvania, for instance, and you're hoping you get enough of a sample size to be able to say, yep, we got a result here.
I think what troubles me about that has more to do with the fact that, and maybe they have qualifications for this so they make sure it comes out right. You have a state like Arizona, and Arizona's not alone with this. What percentage do we have of mail-in balloting? There are not that many people coming out of the polling place. There just aren't. And often those are people who don't trust the system. So one would think, is that, in this state, that would probably mean leaning right. So does that in any way mess up the Edison results? I mean, probably not. I'm sure they've done this long enough where they won't. But to me, I'm like, that's just like exit polling? I don't know about that.
Well, I think that's why I think it's why the Edisons didn't want to claim that initially, right? They were concerned with that, and this is why Fox was on the other page. They said, well, this is good, but then we saw the ballots kind of come in later on for Biden, and then things shift a little bit, and it's probably because of what you just said.
But the irony about the Fox thing is not just that, okay, Fox has been very pro-Trump and pro-Republican for years. I get that. But the irony is that Fox, having read a book about this, they were so proud that they had this new system that no one else had, and it's so high-tech and it's so great, and then it got the result that they were so proud of because it was right, but then wait a second.
It wasn't what the result that our audience wanted to hear, right?
So we are cutting edge, but wait a second, not great.
This is the old media ethics question, right? Do you tell people what they need to know or what they want to know? And when you're in, let's face it, news is a business, and you got to have eyes. How many Fox viewers tuned out of Fox that night and went to their competitors because their competitors gave them hope that their candidates still stood a chance in Arizona?
And when you say competitors, you don't mean ABC, NBC. You mean like...
Well, I mean them.
Yeah. I think you meant like Newsmax or something like that, even further to the right. Yeah.
Actually, that's probably a great point, too.
Yeah.
Newsmax OAN. Yeah, that's a really great point, too. I was just curious. So when you have one network calling it and one network not calling it, now you'll know why that's going on.
Thanks for watching The Chris and Joe Show. Click to see more from Chris and Joe and tap the button in the middle to subscribe to KTAR News.